Hello and good morning, everybody. We are here on October 25th, 2024, to dive into our pre-market prep session, our daily session where we go over all the important news, notes, analysis, trade ideas, mindset tips that are absolutely essential to making sure that you can survive markets, right? Which is really the name of the game right now. So there's certain times we are looking to thrive, certain times we are looking to survive. Now we're in a survival time, and we're looking to continue to do that, right? We've got big earnings next week. We're in the middle of earnings season. We've got markets that aren't really doing too much. We've got a lot of people that are making huge donations to market makers by trying to be overactive in times like this. And I'm proud to say that we aren't any of those people. So let's continue to kind of dodge this absolute sludge fest, this war of attrition that no one has pockets large enough to win. Right, you can only win by being patient, not having your money sitting out there for no reason, trying to trade short-term movement when short-term movement is amounting into nothing long-term. So let's continue to be patient and stay apprised of what's going on. And as always, we're here to get 1% better. 1% better only. Don't need to aim for any higher than that. Let's make it nice and manageable, something that we can hit consistently, because consistency is king. And we're going to aim to do that today. Get 1% better. So drop your ones in the chat, signifying your intention to do that. And let's get on with our top news today, which is growing alliance. The West has attempted to isolate Moscow from the global economy over the Ukraine war. But this week's BRICS summit in Russia may have proved the nation's significant diplomatic role as emerging economies look to challenge Western dominance. Leaders convened. The BRICS concluded its 16th annual summit in Kazan, Russia on Thursday, which was the first since the bloc's expansion and saw participation from more than 20 countries, including those hoping to join the alliance. The Kazan Declaration issued at the summit included support for interbank cooperation, cross border payments, a grain trading platform, and the new development bank within the bloc. Creating an international precious metals exchange was also discussed, and a symbolic BRICS banknote was unveiled. Now, geopolitics in focus, leaders called for de escalation of regional wars, although no specific action was discussed. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres, whose attendance at the summit was criticized by Kiev, called for peace in Gaza, Lebanon, Sudan, and Ukraine. Notably, when asked about Donald Trump's promise to end the Ukraine war if elected president, Vladimir Putin said the statement seemed sincere. Quote, "We certainly welcome statements of this kind, no matter who makes them," he added. It's just so funny. Like people like, oh yeah, we welcome peace, and you're literally the aggressor. Like when you say you welcome peace, you welcome what you want being given to you, so that you can stop causing, or stop engaging in provocation. Um, Bigger picture, as for challenging U.S. dollar dominance, Putin said the goal was not to reject the currency, but instead find alternatives if access is restricted. ING believes BRICS has the most potential to forward its de-dollarization agenda and FX reserves, but how successful would BRICS be in providing alternatives to Western-dominated institutions? In some ways, it is repeating the experience of the EU. Senior Alpha analyst Mark Chandler recently noted, quote, "The more countries join, the wider range of interest, the more difficult to arrive at timely decisions." And that's what's, again, just so tough about democracy in general. When you have a lot of voices to include, it's really tough to get anything done because everyone has different motivations, agenda, right? And it just makes it difficult to get things done. So, BRICS kind of might run into the same issues that, the UN runs into day in and day out. Now, in terms of how we're looking here, pre-market, today's markets in Asia, Japan down 0.6%, Hong Kong up 0.5, China up 0.6, India down 0.8. London, we're down 0.2, Paris down 0.3, Frankfurt down 0.1, the Dow up 0.2, S&P up 0.2, NASDAQ up 0.2. Crude up 0.6%, gold down 0.5, Bitcoin up 1.4%. We've got consumer sentiment data at 10 a.m., so that is something that can move markets as we get into this opening bell ringing, right? A half hour after markets open, we've got consumer sentiment data, so that can cause some volatility. And a lot of times, whatever move was planned for the day happens on the back of that data kind of being released. So big money will wait for things like a data release in order to kind of mask what they were already intending to do. So maybe we get data at 10 a.m. and then that ultimately decides direction for the day. We'll have to wait and see. But it's always a possibility, and it's one you want to keep in, the back of your head. So what else is happening? We'll wrap up here with our rapid fire stock news rundown. Not in the bag, $8.5 billion Capri Tapestry merger blocked. Steel union boss trying to persuade workers to oppose Nippon deal. Spirit Airlines ticker saved to sell Airbus planes, cut jobs to boost liquidity. Gold miners drop as Newmont's weak results fuel cost concerns. Palladium prices surge as U.S. weighs sanctions on Russian exports. BlackRock ticker BLK warns of risks from FDIC proposal on bank states. Tesla adds more to market cap than combined valuations of GM and Ford. E. coli outbreak, suppliers, fast food chains pull onions, lawsuit filed. Digital Bridge, ticker DBRG, weighs sale of Brazilian data center firm Scala. And then B of A lists companies that stand to benefit from nuclear energy trend. With this kind of blow up of AI, nuclear energy has been a big point of investment and focus for these big tech companies like Google, like Amazon. And there are, some ETFs and different companies that are benefiting from that. Some of them we've gone over here. But this is going to wrap us up here today for this fine week in markets. Now, a bit of a slower week, right? Had some wins, had some losses. For the most part, just sat tight, and that's the biggest thing, right? The biggest thing is just sitting tight, keeping your losses small, right? And then only executing when you've got a really nice setup and you can, bring home some profits like we will this morning, swinging SPY calls from yesterday into today. The main thing, again, is to survive earnings season. We've got huge behemoth companies reporting next week. So we'll likely have to sit through, maybe another week of limbo, another week of volatility. But after that, we're looking to see if we can get some conviction, some direction, and some weathering to this storm of kind of having to sit here and remain patient. So we'll see. We have weekly candles closing this week today. So we're still on the lookout on Friday to see if there are any interesting weekly closes, and I'll make sure to point those out if so. Otherwise, guys, let's have a great rest of the day. Let's finish strong this week and have a great weekend. I'll see you back here on Monday for our next pre-market prep session. Have a good one.